So now we're going to take a look at position fixed. So we've learned, or sorry, we saw position fixed, we saw position relative. Now we're going to see position absolute. Absolute's a little bit of a, well, they're all kind of different. Fixed is like fixed on the screen, right here, don't move. Everything flows under it. Relative is relative to itself. So here's where I'm supposed to be, relative to where I'm supposed to be, put me over here. And absolute is going to be move me in relationship to something else which also has position set on it. The next thing up the DOM which has position set on it. So let's look at an example and then that'll become clear. So I'm going to open up this one and then we'll see it. And so here is absolute. This is set absolute. And this is set position relative. We didn't do anything with the relative. It's only the absolute that we did something with. But what the absolute does is it looks up the DOM and it says, okay, what's the next thing up the DOM which has position set on it? And I'm going to move myself in relation to that. So here's div 1. And its ID is 1. And so we come over here to this ID 1. And it's position relative. But we don't do top or anything. We're just setting position. Okay? So we just set position on it. And then on 2, we set position absolute. And we say from the top 120 pixels, from the right 20 pixels. And so this looks up the DOM and it says, what is the next element up the DOM, the document object model, the nesting of elements? What is the next element up the DOM that has position set on it? Right? And it goes from here and then it goes to there and it says, oh, this has position set on it. Fine, I'm going to position myself off of that. And so if this did not have position set on it, it wouldn't find position there. So what's it going to position itself off of? It positions itself off of the entire page, the body. So it's now 120 pixels from the top of the body and from the right 20 pixels, right? So it positions itself off the next element up the DOM that has positioning set on it, or off of the body, So the blue there, the blue one is border 2pix solid green, and the HTML is blue. Ah, it's off of the HTML. So here's the body, right? There's the body. The green one's the body. So it's off of the HTML. So that is how it works. And if we put position back on here, then it's going to position itself off of the next div. What about if we put position on the body? Let's go put position on the body. Okay. Now it's going to position itself off the body because that's the next element up the DOM which has positioning on it. So absolute is, all right, I'll position myself off the next element in the DOM that has positioning on it, or off of HTML if I don't hit anything. Relative is relative to itself. So this relative one right here, let's take this one back off. And we'll make this one relative. And we're going to say relative, and we'll just, yeah, I guess we'll leave it like that. Relative to itself, it's going to come down 100 pixels from the top. So first, let's just make sure that this is what it looks like. This absolute one is positioning itself off of the relative one, because the relative now has position on. With the relative one, we're going to say come down 100. Does the green one come down 100 with us? Yep. So they move together. So that's kind of like it's tying elements together, right? Because the place where relative was supposed to be was 100 pixel higher, but relative to itself, it moved down. So relative is relative to itself, it moves. Absolute is relative to the next thing up the DOM, which has a positioning property on it, or off of HTML. Does that make sense? Y'all want to try an example with it? So just build a couple of elements that are nested. You know, this is like a nice little example right here. You might recreate this one, and then just try, you know, try to get fixed, position relative, position absolute. Just do position relative, position absolute, and watch them move together like we just did. All right, try that example. Oh, please like this video and hit subscribe. That helps other people find these videos and it helps support me as a teacher. Also, if you want to take this whole course, you can find it at Greater Commons right there. That's the entire course. All right, see you in that class maybe. It's all the videos. All the videos are right there.